Black men not competing for black women. So I have a friend that I talk to on YouTube, and we respectfully disagree. But I had to agree with her when she was talking about how it seems like black men are more engaging when it comes to non-black women. Yeah, she admitted that we aren't necessarily chasing down these non-black women; they're more so getting at us. But regardless of that fact, she says that we seem to be more engaging when we do meet non-black chicks as opposed to black chicks. And there was some reality in what she said. I didn't, completely disagree with her, but I understood where she was coming from. And I gave her an example of why we're not, quote unquote, competing like how you guys want us to compete. I talked about how when I was in school, we used to go to house parties, right? A lot of house parties. People would rent out houses and they would have parties and, yada, yada, yada. And what would happen is there would always be more women than men. So literally, like when me and my boys would go to a party, like literally, like there was like 2 to 3 chicks for every one of us, right? We was just chilling, right? We could do things at our leisure. But what happened later on in the school year is these same women were inviting dudes who pretty much weren't in school and weren't doing much. And what they were trying to do was flood the market. So all of a sudden, right, before this, they were the majority, right? There was a few of us and many of them. And they would flood the market. They would tell these bullshit dudes about, oh, there's a party, this, and that. And these dudes would come in droves because they had nothing else going on, right? They had nothing else going on. So all of a sudden, we would now be at parties where black women were the minority and black men were the majority. And they created a situation to try to bring value to themselves. And what happened was, right, a lot of dudes stopped competing. Like, honestly, we stopped. We stopped going to the parties. We started going to, different parties, whether it was some white frat or we just started doing other things with our time because we knew what they were trying to do. They were trying to create an atmosphere where they were seen as the select minority and we were the, vast majority, right? And they wanted to create this competition. And I was telling her that, we're not competing against dudes who are not in our league. I was telling her, like, if I'm talking to another white chick that I met in school, I understand my competition. I'm competing against other black dudes or other Mexican dudes or other white dudes or other Asian dudes who are also doing what I'm doing. So for me, it's like game on. The best man wins. You know what I mean? Equal opportunity, equal challenge. But what's happening with black women is they want us to challenge and, go to war and try to fight for them. But who are you dating? Who are you dating? And that's the problem. They try to create this atmosphere where they're the damsel in distress and we're supposed to come through. I'm like, who are you dating? You chose to be with that man. And that's the issue. That's the problem. That's why we're not necessarily competing for y'all. Right? If I meet a chick and she's not outright single, it is what it is. But I really get offended because, I still meet black chicks who do have boyfriends but still come at me on some, we should talk and hang out type shit. I hate that shit with the passion. Shit happened to me a couple of weeks ago, right? She clearly stated she had a boyfriend, right? But yet she wanted, to still see what was good with me. I'm like, you have a man. I didn't tell her this, but I was just like, whatever. I'm not going to call her. Right? Because I know automatically that the dude she's probably with is bullshit, and this is what they do. And I can't stand it. We're not competing. Like, life is hard enough. You can't tell a black dude, I don't care if he's blue collar or white collar, who is busting his ass off, whether it's in the classroom, in the field, right, in the office, or wherever he finds himself. You can't tell him he has to compete on that level and then turn around and then compete for men who are doing the exact opposite. Right? Black women can't hide from the fact that there are more of them and less of us. You can't hide from it. It sucks, but it's what's real. And there are going to be black women who lose out, right? Even if every last single eligible black man was like, we're only dating black women, there's still going to be black women who are left out. So my thing is, why do you want to be part of the group that's left out? Right? The ones who are left out, the ones who will be left out and who are getting left out are the ones who feel like black men should compete for them regardless of who they're with. Like, that shit brings me down. Why would I compete? I don't care how cute the girl is. Why would I compete? if she's with another dude or she likes to be around other dudes who aren't even attempting to better themselves. It's not about being college educated or not. It's about trying to be productive. Never. It pains me, right? The older I get, right? To see if I hop on Facebook and, I'm talking to a friend of mine from school and I'm looking at her pictures, and it pains me to see the dudes that they're still associating themselves with. Like, for real, this is who you're still messing with? Like, have you graduated? Are you still a freshman? Or you are still a second year? And I look and I'm like, nah, I'm not competing. I don't care how cute you are. I don't care what you're doing with your life. Why would I compete for that? So I guess, the message I'm trying to take is, I think more black women just have to deal with the fact that there are more black men or less black men than there are black women. And you know what? You don't want to be part of the crowd that's left out. You want to be on the inside. And you do so by, just acknowledging reality and stop flooding the market. Stop trying to act like you're the minority because you flood the market with bullshit black men. Because we're not competing. We're not going to go out of our way. There's too much going on. We have too much to lose by doing so. Take it easy. God bless.